By mid-2014, after signing a deal with a prominent label and positioning himself as one of the most buzzing gangster rappers in Atlanta, Young Thug had truly made it, transcending the cycle of poverty and violence that him and his peers had suffered growing up on the desolate streets around Cleveland Avenue. But this wasn't enough for Thug, who wanted a bigger slice of the pie in the Atlanta rap scene that was incredibly competitive around this time. And Thug wasn't by any means the only one getting a major bag off the rap game in his city, as numerous affiliated but also competing groups were battling for dominance over the industry. And interestingly, it seemed that a lot of these groups were affiliated with different major nationwide factions of the Blood Gang, such as Money Murder, also known as Two Gun Gang, Blazin' Billy, or BBO for Blazin' Billy only, as well as the Inglewood Family Gangster Bloods, also known as IFGB, IF Gang, or 9-2 Family, and the 9 Trey Gangster Bloods, also known as Billy Badass, or BBA. At one point, these groups were on friendly terms, but over time, it seems that the competitiveness in the scene and possible gang-related rivalries would lead to bitter conflicts that would eventually turn deadly. Young Thug's life at this time was busier than it had ever been. He was touring all over the country, often joined by his rich gang affiliates, Rich Homie Quan and the 5-star stunner himself, Birdman, who is also known to often flaunt his own blood affiliation, sometimes even seemingly indicating to also be part of this Money Murder faction of the gang. However, along with those highly famous blood-affiliated artists, there would also be some high-ranking Blood members who were perhaps unknown to the broader public, but whose names held enormous weight in the streets of Atlanta. In one Rich Gang tour vlog posted on Worldstar Hip Hop around this time, Young Thug would introduce one of these people to the camera, describing him as one of the biggest Bloods in America.
I got one of the biggest Bloods in America with me, you did, Atlanta, Georgia. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Like, big shout out to Birdman. I'm seeing him be Rich Gang YSL for life, you know what I'm saying?
The man introduced by Thug was none other than Donovan Thomas Jr., better known in the streets as Big Nut. Big Nut was born on April 4th, 1988, and despite being only 26 years old in 2014, he was a bona fide OG in the streets of Atlanta, even with his nickname Nut, short for Peanut, coming from the fact that he was a small kid who, according to his mother, looked like the cutest peanut.
Would you tell the jury who it is that is depicted on Stacy's Exhibit 3, Yankee?
That's my son, Donovan Thomas Jr.
And did you call him Donovan Thomas Jr. or did you have another name for him?
Yeah, we called him Peanut.
Where did that name come from?
Just him growing up, he was smaller than he was, as you know now. And we just thought when he was born, he was just a cute little peanut, and that name just grew with him.
Nut grew up in University Homes public housing project that was located in West Atlanta near downtown before being torn down in 2009, and he attended the nearby Booker T. Washington High School. At some point, Nut would become affiliated with a gang that reps the old 4th Ward neighborhood, often known as simply 4th Ward, this gang sometimes being referred to as the Bird Gang. In fact, if Atlanta law enforcement are to be believed, Nut wasn't just any member, but the second in command in the Bird Gang. This set is, or at least was, also known as the Pink City Bird Gang. The Pink City name, according to some Redditors, allegedly comes from where Nut and his friends used to trap at. However, the name Pink City Bird Gang could also be a play on the classic 2003 song Purple City Bird Gang by Harlem rapper Jim Jones. Now, the Bird Gang is known as the BGCMB, the CMB at the end standing for their late member Lil Chris, real name Christopher M. Bennett, who was killed in 2011. According to some people, Chris was in fact Nut's brother, his death hitting Nut seemingly very hard, and he would even get a large CMB tattoo on his chest, as well as several huge diamond chains made in his honor. As already hinted, Bird Gang is also another Blood gang, with their members seemingly primarily identifying as the Inglewood families like the ABG, at least according to Atlanta law enforcement. Nut himself would seemingly often rep the gang on social media, throwing up different hand signs associated with that gang. But Nut wasn't just an alleged high-ranking member, but he was also seemingly a successful businessman in the music industry too, who was very close with industry titans like Birdman, posing with him in photos numerous times. Nut also went seemingly way back with the Baton Rouge rap legend Boosie Badass, as well as apparently being close with the pioneer of the modern Atlanta trap sound, Waka Flocka. And of course, Nut was also very close with YFN Lucci, who allegedly shared the same Inglewood family Blood gang ties with him. As Nut himself would state, his name held weight, likely both in the streets and in the Atlanta rap industry, where he was part of different music industry ventures, most notably the record label called Think It's a Game, or TIG, which was founded by Nut's friend Gervan Fly Henry, who was one of the most well-known industry players in the Atlanta rap scene, as well as being known and awarded for his philanthropy, and even getting knighted by the city and having an official day named after him. In fact, it would actually be Nut who would introduce YFN Lucci to Henry and landing him his deal with Think It's a Game Records.
And Nut, man, you know, he introduced me to Fly. He was like, man, Fly, no, like, man, shout it. It's hard. Like, ain't nobody harder than him, man. He, you know, he want to do it. He love doing it, so he gonna do it, and he gonna listen. So, you know, he a good person, you know, to have in your corner. And Fly, you know, Fly, but that was his mans, and he believed in him, and we made it happen.
Lucci and Nut had developed a strong relationship, and Nut would continue praising Lucci early in his career, commenting on his posts how Lucci was about to murder the rap game. Nut would even bring Lucci around his mother from time to time, which Nut's mother would actually speak on from the stand at the eventual YSL trial.
Did your son ever bring Lucci to your house?
Yes.
Did you ever see your son interact with Lucci?
Yes.
Was Lucci one of the artists that your son worked with?
Yes.
I sustain the objections to form. You can rephrase.
What was the relationship between your son and Lucci?
Just entertainment, music.
By all accounts, Nut was an instrumental player in getting YFN Lucci into the rap game, and Nut's untimely demise, allegedly caused by members of YSL, would lead to an intense and violent war between Thug and his YSL crew and YFN Lucci and his YFN crew and their affiliates like the ABG. However, there's much more puzzle pieces that would allegedly play key roles in Nut's murder, going far beyond the beef between YSL and YFN. So if you want to know more about that years-long back and forth between those two factions, you can go and watch my deep dive documentary I already did about that whole beef, because with regards to the YSL RICO case, it would actually be another artist whose connections to both Thug and Nut would allegedly be crucial in Nut losing his life, and that person was Rich Homie Quan. Rich Homie Quan, real name DeQuantes Devontae Lamar, was born on October 4th, 1989, and from a young age he would show an interest in becoming a musician, even getting a tattoo of a microphone on his body at age 16, stamping the rap game on his skin and setting his intention on making his way in music by any means necessary.
I go to jail, I got a microphone telling me in high school, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't rapping, I was shy though, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in jail, so dude was like, oh, you got that microphone, you don't rap, you don't know be rapping, everybody rapping it, you know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, man. So a dude coming in named Tomahawk, I remember like it was yesterday. It was in May, I had been locked up 4 months by then. So he rapping, he got the whole dorm on lock, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, he ain't doing nothing, I can't do it. So he being with his hands on the table, but it's shining, so, and I was like, man, that's when I really just got the urge, man. I'm finna get back on the music, man.
However, before embarking on his musical journey, Quan would initially pursue a career in professional baseball as a way for him to get out of the streets, even receiving a college scholarship based on his talent in the sport. But due to baseball being a majority white sport, apparently Quan knew that it likely wasn't going to work out for him unless he had exceptional talent.
Did you graduate from high school with something like a 3.2 GPA?
Yeah, I graduated from high school with a 3.2 GPA. Yes, sir. Graduated. I had a scholarship to go to Fort Valley University to play baseball, but I didn't get a scholarship for academics. My scholarship was for baseball, but with my academics being that, I didn't have to pay for school at all, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but my mind was on rapping though. Like baseball, cool, but in the back of my mind, I really want to rap. Cause as I'm getting older, I'm noticing like, my favorite players growing up, Sammy Sosa, Andrew Jones, but yeah, they black, but yeah, I hear Andrew Jones talk, bada. Like, what the hell, Andrew Jones, I thought you were black. So as I started getting old, I started realizing like, the percentage of black men in the MLB is very small. So then I'm like, I'm good, but I ain't that good.
He would eventually end up following the college path for a couple of weeks before dropping out due to having to commute a whopping 4 hours to school every day. Quan would then turn to a life of crime in order to make ends meet, and he and some friends would begin breaking into houses when Quan was about 19, stealing televisions and other electronics, while also seemingly dabbling with music, like making a song called Stay Down in 2008 with a rap group called the Stack Money Boys, which had all the essentials of the Atlanta sound at the time, being a highly upbeat party anthem in the style of Roscoe Dash, Travis Porter, and other Atlanta legends from that time period. However, Quan's brief stint in the life of crime came to an abrupt halt after a few months when his crew was caught and Quan was sent to prison, as he would later explain in a Vlad TV interview.
Man, I get over there, they kicking dough. I'm like, bro, what we doing? So, the first time, I didn't even break in the house. But we got caught. Make a long story short, we got caught. I go to jail, first offender, I get out the next day. But from that experience, I learned like, damn, I could do this. They dumb. They did it wrong. You know what I'm saying? So listen. 2 months after that, I get locked up. And that's when I go to jail for the 15 months, you know what I'm saying? That's when I go to jail for the 15 months. So I had me a little 2-month run doing it my way. And my way, I still got locked up, you know what I'm saying? But I was smart though, I was getting money though. I was getting money.
Several months into his sentence, Quan began to rethink his life and turned his focus back to music. Influenced by a fellow inmate who dominated the dorm with his rapping skills, Quan then began to write songs daily and perform them for some commissary.
Nah, when I first got in jail, I didn't even rap My first 6 months in there, nobody even knew I rap. Like, I got tattoos of the microphone. They asked me like, Queasy, because they call me Queasy Rich and Jet. They're like, Queasy, why you got this microphone? You know, I make beats. I'm lying. I'm so shy. I'm shy. So I started rapping like 6 months in. So this how I gained my confidence. I started rapping 6 months in. It was this dude I was locked up with. His name was Tomahawk. I don't know, like Tomahawk. So he came in came out like a speeding ticket or something. When he came in, he was beating on the desk, rapping, and he got the whole dorm going crazy. But me and the competitiveness in me, I'm like, that's hard, but I'm harder than that. I know this. I've been upstairs ripping my room harder than that. So boom, the next morning he come out beating on the table. Nobody know I rap. I freestyle. They were like, Queasy Rich, we ain't even know you rap. So when I started saying that right there, when I saw that 6 months in, that's when I said, them burglars, I'm finna focus strictly on rap.
Following his release from prison in February 2011, Quan was determined to turn his newfound passion for music into a full career, and soon he would join an Atlanta rap crew called Loyalty Over Royalties and begun putting out music again. Being part of the crew granted him access to studio sessions and an ability to print mixtapes at a good rate, which was through his friend CEO Teezy. But tragically, Teezy was killed later that year, which would end up discouraging Quan and delaying his plans with music.
I don't want to share a room with my brother, so now I take Dre, I'ma just stay in the garage. Like, we got a 2-side garage down. So I told my mama, to get me a mattress in the garage, give me a couple of fans. When they, you know what I mean? I'ma set the computer up right here. I still got my equipment. You know what I'm saying? I set my stuff up out there. I'm rapping out there, and I meet this dude named Teezy. I meet this dude named Teezy through my brother Dre's friend, Vontae. Cause Vontae, I always knew I could rap. He was like, bro, you so hard, bro. You too hard, bro. You not, bro, you don't got nothing else to do. You gotta go meet this. And he was like, he knew me, he was like, bro, I ain't going. He came over there and got me, he was like, bro, you going. He took me over there to meet him, I rap for him. Teezy fell in love with me, bro. So, like I'm telling you, I was standing in the basement. From the first day I met Teezy, I ain't sleep in that basement for 3 months. I ain't 3 months, 6 months. Forever I knew Teezy, because Teezy ended up getting killed. You see what I'm saying? So when Teezy get killed, man, R.I.P. Teezy, and that messed me up. When Teezy get killed, I'm like, man, I don't even want to rap no more, man. The only person who believed in me, he gone now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the baby.
At this time, Quan was struggling financially, living in the basement of his mother's house, but still keeping himself occupied and recording every day on his mattress. And by April 2012, Quan would be gaining traction with the mixtape I Go In On Every Song, which would eventually end up gaining the attention of Gervin Fly Henry, the head of Think It's a Game Records, who would hear Quan's mixtape in his Fly Kicks shoe store, leading Fly to then end up signing Quan for $19,000, which Quan would receive in $400 installments every week. Quan would then start dropping mixtapes under the label, starting with the tape Still Going In, released in September 2012. This tape would include the single Differences, which now has over 20 million views on YouTube. According to Quan, at this point he was already getting thousands for his shows, but things would really change for him after he would drop Still Going In Reloaded in February 2013, which would include the song Some Type of Way or simply Type of Way. This would be Quan's first mega hit, peaking at number 50 on the Billboard Hot 100 and at number 8 on the Hot Rap Songs chart, becoming a fan favorite. The music video for the song, released in July 2013, now stands at over 300 million views on YouTube, while the song has over 100 million plays on Spotify. But the track resonated beyond the charts, becoming an anthem for the 2013 Michigan State Spartans, a football team that was on fire that year, with the team actually being invited to the 100th annual Rose Bowl, one of the biggest events in college football, and Rich Homie Quan would even join them for the celebration. And this was nearly a year before Young Thug would start getting his own Billboard hits, which is often forgotten when discussing the Rich Gang era and the influence that both Quan and Thug had in the group's success. As early as February the 12th, 2013, Thug was well aware of Quan's meteoric rise in the Atlanta rap scene, and he would take to Twitter to hype and tease an upcoming collaboration between Chicago-born and Atlanta-raised Lil Silk and Rich Homie Quan, as well as posting cover art for the song a few days before its release. Thug seemed to be a genuine fan of Quan's music and would respond to a fan that suggested a link-up between him and Quan would be hard with the hashtag facts. But it also made sense for Thug career-wise to align himself with the hottest new prospect in his city, as Thug was still more of an up-and-coming rapper at this point, while Quan's career was going from strength to strength more rapidly. And at the end of 2013, Rolling Stone would even name Quan's Still Going In Reloaded as the 10th best mixtape of the year, and in May 2013, fans of the two rappers would be blessed with their first collaboration, when both featured on Gucci Mane's Trap House 3 album on a song titled Chasing Paper. Gucci being one of the biggest artists to come out of Atlanta trap in history, this was a major look for both artists, although Gucci at the time was fighting his own demons with drug addiction and mental health issues, eventually landing himself in trouble with the law. But from here, after that Gucci co-sign, going into the summer of 2012, 2012, Kwon would continue having breakthrough success at national and even international level. In September, he would be featured on the iconic hook of the hit single My N-Word by the California rapper YG alongside Atlanta trap legend Young Jeezy, with the song peaking at number 19 on the Hot 100, and the music video now having over 350 million views on YouTube. The song truly opened doors for Kwon to become a global star, charting in 7 countries around the world, even going platinum all the way in Sweden. In November, Thug would post a tweet telling the world that they weren't even ready for the collab that he was about to release with Kwon, and later that month, Kwon would release another mixtape titled I Promise I Will Never Stop Going In, which would include the song Get the F Out My Face, featuring none other than Young Thug himself. The song wasn't quite the mega hit that Thug was making it out to be, although he would make it part of his live performances, clearly seeing the potential in the duo's collaboration. Thug would also post a vlog on his YouTube channel in November showing him and Kwon working on a song together that would eventually be released with the title Time. By the end of 2013, Thug's career too had begun taking off in a major way as well, and Thug's rise would lead to endless speculation about the multi-million-dollar record deals he was courting, and together with Kwon, they had truly become the most valuable rookie rappers in all of Atlanta. Meanwhile, Kwon's Think It's a Game label, aka TIG, where Big Nut was involved, was doing all-round great business as an indie record label. Their roster at the time, also including artists like Trinidad James, whose 2012 hit song All Gold Everything had literally gone gold in 2013, and the R&B singer Jaquise, whose EP 19 was charting at the top of the R&B and hip-hop album charts. In March 2014, Kwon and Thug would announce their plans to drop a joint EP, and the following month, Kwon would give an interview while having a show in Houston where he would describe him and Thug as the best duo out of Atlanta since Outkast.
You got this, this tape with Young Thug coming out. How'd that relationship grow, man? How'd y'all link up?
Man, Young Thug is my brother. You know what I'm saying? He's from Atlanta, I'm from Atlanta. He's from Cleveland. I'm from East Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? First time we got in the studio, it was really Murder All She Wrote. You know what I mean? He don't write, I don't write. You know what I mean? He just FaceTimed me, to be honest, before I came in here. He told me turn up, breaking up. Me and Thug gonna do an EP.
Okay, most definitely. You got any plans on when that's gonna drop?
Before the year out.
Before the year out. Yeah. Now, as far as the album name, you releasing that yet?
Nah, but I can tell you this. The EP me and Thug dropped. It's the hardest duo since Outkast. Hardest duo since Outkast.
Also in April, Thug and Kwon would once again feature in a song together when the Migos would drop their Streets on Lock 3 mixtape, where the dynamic duo would go in together on the song Too Deep. Unfortunately though, the following month in May, Kwon would faint and suffer a head injury while shooting a music video for his song Walkthrough, leading to rumors of drug abuse, which Kwon would vehemently deny at the time.
You scared a lot of us recently. I mean, not recently, but a few months ago when you had some seizures.
See, like, nah, hold on. Let's clear that up. Let's clear it up, Black. I never had a seizure, Vlad. TMZ lied. TMZ. Listen, bro. TMZ. I never had a seizure. I fainted, bro. From dehydration, bro. And like a fool, bro. You feel me? I bust my face. I got stitches. I had to get 9 stitches in my eye, bro. You feel me? I never bust my, I bust my eye, not my head. I said in the song, TMZ lied. Like, that would not be on my album. It's just a TMZ song, but TMZ owns TMZ, everything about TMZ.
However, years later, he would indeed admit that he had actually been struggling with addiction at this pivotal point in his career.
Like on Miley, like the Rich Gang days, like I was on Miley probably like 2 years straight, like every day. Like I was taking Miley before I go brush my teeth.
Jeez.
You feel me?
And so that's no way to live.
No way to live, bro. But then that's when I started feeling like my music was like falling out. I was caught up, like I was lost in the South.
But despite health scares, his momentum remained strong, as he would feature on the Under the Influence of Music tour with rap-heavy hitters like Wiz Khalifa, Young Jeezy, and Ty Dolla $ign. Meanwhile, Nut would post several pictures of himself and Birdman together on Instagram, along with captions saying that he was with his fellow Blood Gang homie and that people should stay tuned, together with hashtags repping his TIG label, perhaps inferring that he was indeed doing some business in the music industry with the #1 stunner Birdman. Around the same time, Nut would also post a picture of him and Young Thug performing a signature blood handshake at Birdman's condo, showing that these two were also very close. Then, at the end of June, the bomb would drop, as Thug and Kwon together, under Birdman's Rich Gang Collective, would drop one of the most iconic trap songs of the 2010s. I'm of course talking about the song Lifestyle. Originally, Birdman's Rich Gang Collective was mainly comprised of rappers who were already signed to his Cash Money Records, and their projects would do relatively poorly despite the very big names being involved in them. But with the Lifestyle song becoming an undeniable hit, peaking at 16 on the Billboard 100 and going certified platinum before the end of the year, even being named as Complex's second best song of the year, today the music video for Lifestyle sits at a mind-boggling almost 700 million views. This was an enormous hit, instantly making Rich Gang synonymous with both Young Thug and Rich Homie Kwon. Kwon would later reveal that he had actually first met Birdman when he came to to his show in Miami, with Birdman then inviting Quan to a studio to play him Lifestyle. Quan actually initially thought that it was Lil Wayne rapping on the track instead of Young Thug, while Birdman would let Quan know that he'd actually been saving the track for him to lay another verse on.
First day I met Baby, came to one of my shows in Miami. He was like, nephew, pull up on me at the studio. I got one I want you to hear. Rightfully so, I pull up to the studio. He hit Spacebar. The rest is history, bro. That song he played, Lifestyle, when I first heard it, I was like, man, who that, Wayne? When I first heard Lifestyle, I thought it was Wayne on it. He like, nah, that Thug. I was like, well, what Thug? I didn't die. I've been had it for. I've been saving it for you, nephew. I swear to God. I swear to God. First time I met Birdman, went straight to the studio, we did Lifestyle. I promise to God. And we were shooting the video 2 days later.
Nut and Fly, the founder of Think It's a Game Records, would also be both present at the video shoot for Lifestyle, with Big Nut himself even making a very short cameo in that video, and he would also promote the song on his own Instagram, repping both Rich Gang and his actual gang set, the Bird Gang, as well as of course the Bloods in the caption. But interestingly, around this same time, the Bird Gang would also begin rocking custom clothing with a logo for their set that was basically a modified version of the Rich Gang logo. But the same day the Lifestyle music video was released, Nut would post a picture on his Instagram hanging out at Birdman's condo, showing that the two were seemingly very much locked in on the Rich Gang project, despite Nut's crew kinda copying their source. But it seemed like things were good between Nut and Birdman, with Nut even seemingly traveling around in Birdman's private jet during this time. In July, Nut would post a photo with Quan saying how much love he had for him while shouting out his Inglewood family gang, accompanied by both Nut and Quan throwing up hand signs associated with that gang. But Quan wasn't the only artist getting love from Think It's a Game Records, because while Rich Gang was becoming one of the biggest things in rap, Nut was already eyeing the label's next talent, this of course being none other than YFN Lucci, whom Nut would shout out on his Instagram, calling him the next big artist coming out of Atlanta, as well as posting a video of a Think It's a Game photo shoot attended by himself, Rich Homie Quan, Lucci, and the label founder Fly, while Lucci would use Twitter to reveal that he and Rich Homie Quan had been recording music together. And in the months that followed, it seemed that things were still cool between Big Nut and Birdman. In August, Nut would promote Birdman's flashy lifestyle vlog episode, tagging both Thug and Birdman in the post, as well as promoting Thug's birthday bash that was to be held at an Atlanta nightclub. And the business meetings with Birdman also seemingly continued, as Nut may well have been acting as both the representative of Rich Homie Quan and Think It's a Game's interests within the Rich Gang collaboration. In September, on the other hand, Nut would proudly promote the Think It's a Game artist during the BET Award weekend, with both Lucci and Quan included in the roster. Later that month, Birdman would officially release the new Rich Gang mixtape titled Rich Gang The Tour Part 1, with the cover art showing a face that was half Young Thug and half Rich Homie Quan. At this point, things appeared to be business as usual, at least on the surface, as Nut was seemingly still cool with Birdman, posting a photo of the two together with both holding Rich Gang themed double cups. But on the streets of Atlanta, things were getting hectic, and the very same day that the Rich Gang tape was released, Rich Homie Quan's father, Corey Lamar, would be at a barbershop where he worked, when a group of men would enter the shop with an apparent mission of robbing the place. Things would quickly escalate into a shootout, during which Quan's father would get shot, ending up in the hospital in critical condition, but fortunately surviving the incident. Think It's a Game label founder Fly would send a statement to XXL the day after the shooting, saying that as far as he knew, the shooting was not gang related, but other sources were providing a different narrative, with one local reporter indicating that the shooting may have been related to a feud between Quan and another rapper. And although the article itself would hardly expand on this theory, the writer may have been referring to lyrics from Quan that some had taken as a diss towards Future, as local TV news would also seemingly indicate this same story, even using a clip from an interview where Quan had addressed this beef.
News Since 4, we're hearing from a man who says he chased the gunman who shot a popular Atlanta rapper's father. Channel 2's Tom Jones now live in Northwest Atlanta, where police say, Tom, that the gunman got away in a black Honda Accord.
Justin, that's right. That's also the description of the car. That witness told me he chased down this road after he heard gunshots coming from Lamar's barbershop. The victim survived the shooting, a shooting many in this community think is connected to the victim's son, Atlanta rapper Rich Homie Quan.
Rich Homie Quan is here.
Atlanta rapper Rich Homie Quan, whose real name is Daquantis Lamar, is one of the hottest artists around.
I'm a smooth operator.
He's also known for his close relationship with his father, Corey Lamar.
Where your pops at, man?
Yeah, the crib, man, here in Atlanta, man. Cool, man.
Some here at Lamar's barbershop are wondering if an alleged feud between Quan and other rappers led to Corey Lamar being shot 4 times inside his barbershop. Atlanta police say the gunman came in the shop and opened fire.
So I heard about 3 gunshots, and so I saw the guy come out.
Van White says he heard the gunshots, saw the gunman, and chased him, but he got away.
He got in a black car, and that's all I know from there.
One barber told me he went to the back, and another barber said he left the shop. They say that's when the gunman came in. Workers here told me someone shot up the shop about a month ago. I talked to several people who believe the shooting is a result of Quan feuding or disrespecting other rappers and songs. Police wouldn't comment on that and say their investigation continues. But in at least one interview, Rich Homie Quan repeatedly said he isn't feuding with one rapper in question.
I never dissed him. I never disrespected him as a man.
However, during the YSL trial, in a shock turn of events, it would actually turn out to be none other than close affiliate of Young Thug, YSL Woody, who would admit to doing this shooting along with other culprits, saying that he had done it due to his friend called Threat, real name Travante Turner, having problems with Rich Homie Quan.
Happened in Nut got nothing to do with YSL. This screaming language. This got everything to do with Threat. Know what I mean? I was trying to protect Threat from the get-go. Know what I mean? Threat, and they had some more stuff going on. Like,
was Threat at the gambling house when it got shot up by Kel?
You say nothing I say can be used against me?
That's right.
Me and Threat shot up Rich Homie Quan Dad at the barbershop on Bankhead. I don't know what happened with Threat and Rich Homie Quan, but I'ma ride with my brother. And they was beefing. And yeah, we pulled up and did that.
Okay. And as a result of, why did you and Threat shoot up Rich Homie Quan Daddy's barbershop?
Because I'ma ride with Threat.
Okay. Did Threat tell you why he was shooting?
I don't ask no questions. I just say let go.
Threat would end up being killed in June 2024, taking his version of the events that day to the grave with him. But regardless of what was going on in the streets, on the music side, everything continued as if nothing was happening. And in October, Rich Gang would drop another hit, the song Tell 'Em, together with a music video showing Quan, Thug, and Birdman living the lavish tour life, accompanied by fancy cars, tons of liquor, and scantily clad women, with the music video now standing at over 55 million views. Also in October, Nut was riding on a high of his own, announcing the birth of his daughter Kaylin on Instagram, and his relationship with Birdman and the whole Rich crew at least seemed better than ever, with a new vlog from the group dropping in November, where we would see that already mentioned clip of Thug introducing Nut to the camera as one of the biggest bloods in America.
I got one of the biggest bloods in America with me, my you did, Atlanta, Georgia. You get what I'm trying to tell you?
This was followed later in November by another Rich Gang song and music video titled Freestyle, where Nut can even be seen making a cameo greeting Quan with a gang handshake at the beginning of the video before he begins his verse. The following month in December, Nut would make a cryptic post seemingly announcing the start of a new business venture called Big Business Entertainment, which he would accompany with a caption saying how he was done with the small talk, from now on everything was going to be big, together with hashtags repping both the Think It's a Game label and Rich Gang. On a separate note, Lucci's career was also thriving at this time, as he would release his first mixtape under the Think It's a Game label in mid-December titled Wish Me Well, a project which would also include a feature from his label mate Rich Homie Quan on the song Exactly How It Was, which would eventually also get a music video about a year later, but unfortunately within a month of this collaboration, they would end up losing the very person who had played a pivotal role in launching both of their careers, as in early January, Nut would post another picture of him and Birdman chilling at Birdman's condo, although based on the caption, it seemed that this was an old picture taken in the summertime, not January. Interestingly, according to the YSL indictment, the very next day, Thug and D would post a photo together with the caption, "We ain't going back and forth," which the prosecution would consider to be an overt act in furtherance of the gang conspiracy when it came to the trial. This seemingly indicated that the authorities thought that this post was addressing Nut in particular, and a few days later, Thug would allegedly rent an Infiniti Q50 sedan from Hertz, handing it over to his YSL goons. And only 3 days after that, on January the 10th, 2015, whatever had been taking place behind the scenes was about to come to a tragic conclusion. It was approximately 8:45 p.m. when Nut was in front of the Hair Unlimited barbershop on McDaniel Street in the Castleberry neighborhood. He was conversing with a group of people when the Infiniti Q50 that Thug had rented would allegedly drive past them, which according to prosecutors had 5 men inside. Javaris Bradford aka Tudor, Justin Cobb aka Doo-Wop, Diamante Kendrick aka Yak Gotti, Demise McMullen aka Nard, and Shannon Stillwell aka SB, with someone inside the car opening fire and hitting 3 people, 1 juvenile and 2 adults, one of these being Big Nut himself, with security cameras even capturing the events from both outside and inside the barbershop, showing adults and kids ducking and running for cover as the chaos unfolded. Nut would receive several shots to his upper body and would be rushed to the Grady Memorial Hospital, where he would sadly pass away at just 26 years old.
Triple shooting, and one of the victims is a teenager. The shooting happened outside a barber shop, and tonight one victim is clinging to life. Channel 2's Jessica Jaglois is live at the scene, where there's still a very heavy police presence. Jessica.
As you can see behind me, there is still quite the active scene here in Southwest Atlanta. McDaniel Street is still closed, and it has been for more than 3 hours. That's because there are shell casings up and down the street. Now, I'm told one of the men who was shot, a man in his mid-20s, is in critical condition, but that his status could change for the worse overnight.
It appears that they were the intended target, but again, I'm not sure the reason of the shooting.
Atlanta police are investigating why 2 men in their mid-20s and a 14-year-old boy were shot outside of a barber shop in Southwest Atlanta Saturday night.
Right now, it doesn't appear that they had anything connection to the business. They were just kind of hanging out, is what we appear.
Investigators say it appears to have been a drive-by shooting, and according to several witnesses we spoke with, an automatic weapon was used.
The search is on for the person who shot 3 people, including a 14-year-old. 1 man died. Channel 2 Steve Gelbach is live at Grady Memorial Hospital. Steve, investigators say they don't have a motive, but they don't believe this shooting was random.
I did hear back from Atlanta police in the last half hour by email. Said there's really not an update on this case yet, but they do confirm it is a homicide investigation. All 3 victims, including a 14-year-old, were brought here to Grady Memorial Hospital, and 26-year-old Donovan Thomas was in the most serious condition, and the medical examiner's office confirmed he did not survive.
Later during the YSL trial, the prosecutors would show numerous crime scene photos showing the aftermath, with Nutt's Chevy Tahoe riddled with bullets and numerous shell casing markers scattered across the crime scene.
I'll also show you what's been admitted as Exhibit 12Y, 27Y, 26Y, 218Y, 174Y, 193Y, and 221Y.
Following Nutt's death, the whole city of Atlanta would seemingly pay tribute to him, with billboards in his memory appearing everywhere, including at Club Crucial, where YSL Woody had apparently gotten into an altercation with Nutt's brother only days before his death. Meanwhile, Nutt's family would take over his Instagram, using it to honor his memory, and artists close to Nutt would also pay their respects, like YFN Lucci, who would post a video to Facebook mourning the loss of his good friend.
Yeah, man, shit working, man. Yeah, just hopped out of this big right here, though. Got my man's working. We working, man. Big Bentley shit. YFNBC, long live Nutt forever.
Lucci would later even memorialize Nutt by naming his 2017 mixtape Long Live Nutt, as well as speaking in interviews about how Nutt had been the one who put him on in the rap game.
Well, yeah, I said a lot of stuff different from back then, because, you know, I lost one of my homies who really got me on. You know, long live Nutt forever. Yeah, Nutt got me on, so.
Birdman 2 would pay homage to Nutt after his passing, posting a picture of the two on Instagram with a caption calling Nutt a solid guy who would never be forgotten. According to the DA Fannie Willis, the murder of Nutt would begin a years-long bloody back and forth between YSL and YFN, which may have led to as many as 50 shootings, and, according to the former Fulton County DA Paul Howard, already in 2017 had led to 4 retaliatory murders. But in the immediate aftermath of the murder, it wouldn't ultimately take long for the authorities to get an idea of just who might have been behind the hit, as already the following day, none other than YSL Woody would find himself in police custody, as the police had allegedly been hearing rumors that he was actually behind the murder, so they wanted to interview him straight away, as he would later recall in the YSL trial.
Now, Mr. Copeland, I want to direct your attention to Saturday, January 10th, 2015, the night that Donovan Thomas was killed. I want you to go back to that day before Donovan Thomas got killed. I want you to tell the jurors what you remember.
I remember getting a call saying that I killed Nutt.
You killed Nutt.
The word was, I got a call and people were saying that, am I okay? They saying I killed Nutt. He asked me what I got going on, or if I heard what happened, or I don't know what he said. I just know he said that, you know what I mean, people saying that I killed Nutt, and he would call it.
Now let me ask you this, did you kill Nutt?
No.
Did you ever see the police about Nutt being killed?
Yeah, the police called.
During the interview, Woody discussed an ongoing conflict that he and Thug had with a man named Shell Kell, or Kel, real name Kelvin Watts, who was the brother of Big Nutt, sort of, as the father of Shell Kell's brother from his mother's side, called Greedy, is also the father of Nutt, and they all seemingly grew up together.
What made you want to pull you into this situation to happen? Okay. Me and Kel, you know what I'm saying? Me and him, we had a problem in the club. Is that him? No, this Nutt. Okay. Alright. Kel, they say this the little brother, but I thought he was just changing it, but they say they real brothers. Kel, K-E-L, K-E-L, Kel, okay. Okay, go ahead, little brother of that, yes. Who you identified from the picture, which is Donovan Thomas. Yes, okay, go ahead. Me and him got into it in the club push. What day was that? It's just like every like it's a lot. Okay. So, but 2 months, 3 months, a year, how about yeah, about I'm saying no longer than 4 months. 4 months. So every time y'all be at Club Crucial, y'all see each other, y'all get into it. So we don't even fight, we don't do none of that. The only time I fight was the last time. Okay, so what was that? Monday we just passed. Monday.
In an attempt to end the beef, Woody would approach Kel at Club Crucial in Atlanta, with the two exchanging words before Kel would then approach Thug and also speak to him.
All the time we get into that club, you know what I mean? Yes, they shoot birds at us, we shoot back at them. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, we go outside. Don't go on that, don't go about to fight, don't go about to that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just go outside. We leave. This every time we got to the club. But last Monday, we in the club. But this catch case came in, it was Monday. I think it was Sunday before the Monday. But it's Sunday, it was the Sunday before that week. Me and Kel, I seen Kel outside. So I'm like, hey Kel, how did you? So as me and Kel standing right there, we talking. We talking about everything we gotta get each other. So as we talk, we like, it's over. They challenging cover. So we like, it's over, we ain't beefing no more. So Kel like, alright, but he wanna talk to Thug and see what Thug has to do with it. So like, man, Thug ain't standing there jump up, you know what I'm saying? He ain't into this. So he like, alright, we wanna talk. So him and Thug talk. Whatever said there, I don't know.
The following night, Woody said that he returned to the club and begun flexing money, but that's when Kel and a group of his guys would approach and begin assaulting him, attempting to rob him for his cash.
Monday come, I'm in Kush. As I go to Kush, I pull out my money. I'm on stage, I'm flashing my money to all the girls standing around. I'm flashing money. So I get on the stage, I'm flashing money. Kel, and this whole walk up on me. So I look at him, he's like, what's up, bro? I'm like, what's going on, y'all? And he ain't saying that, so he just looked at me, so I'm still flashing money. I'm laughing, I'm playing with everybody. So he's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, what's up, bro? He's like, Thug still want to pay for the window. Like, I guess so, bro. But he in the club, like, go talk to him. You know what I'm saying? So Kel, like, he took his necklace, he put his necklace inside. So I look at it, I put money in my pocket. So when I put money in my pocket, I walk out. You know what I mean? I walk over here. I look at him. So he turned around, he tells somebody something in the ear. So I walk towards the kitchen. When I walk towards the kitchen, all of them walks behind. I was by myself. So when I get to the kitchen, I see everybody walk behind. I try to turn around and go back to the stage. Kel punched me in the back of the head. So he punched me in the back of the head. They pushed me to the ground. He tries to go in my pocket and get my money. But as I hold on to my money, the other guy punched me all in the face. But I didn't care, I was holding on to the money. So as they punch me, I get out of it, I run.
He would then go on to explain how the opposing blood set, this perhaps referring to the Bird Gang or the Inglewood family in general, would have a meeting about him and Thug the day before Nut's death, where plans were apparently drawn up for Woody and Thug to be murdered.
Friday, they had a meeting. The meeting, like it was a blood meeting, and the meeting was about me and Thug. You and Thug, me and Young Thug. But the whole time, I'm telling her like, what Thug got to do with this, bro? Young Thug was just talking. Young Thug, the rapper. I'm like, what he got to do with this? You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to him. Like, he with you. I'm like, bro, it ain't no beef, bro. Like, I ain't studying y'all niggas. Y'all really, you know, don't pay me no attention. I don't pay y'all no attention. No, I listen, man. But there was a guy that was at me. Said that was the guy down the road, Mo. He was supposed to say, kill me and Young Thug. So I asked, I got 10 minutes on my phone. I text my phone like, hey, bro, y'all gonna kill me and Thug? I said, let's say, and he like, bro, what you talking about? Like, ain't that like they said? So another guy talking like, ain't that like they said? I'm like, okay, they just lying. He like, yeah. So next thing you know,
Woody would then explain how his rivals would start shooting at the gambling house that he would regularly attend.
it's a gambling house. I used to be and we can gamble now. You know, that Lakewood. They go to stand on top of the roof and shoot inside. So they stand on the roof shooting inside the building. And then they leave. So they tell everybody to tell her
with these back and forths then allegedly escalating to the eventual full-blown murder of Big Nut before he had a chance to take out Thug and Woody. But Woody himself would claim that he had been at his girlfriend's house when this incident occurred, an alibi that would suggest that he at least didn't pull the trigger. But Woody would state openly during the YSL trial that when he woke up the morning after Nut's death, people were already accusing him of the murder.
I got in town to Rick. I had called D. Like, where you get first? Like, you on Cleveland. I around to pull up. So I ride on Cleveland. When I get right up by McDonald's on Cleveland, let people like, but they say nothing got killed, bro. I'm for real, bro. But I really just think you just talk. Like, for real, bro. Like, yeah, so I'm like, dang. So I like, what happened? He like, boy, he did come and said. So I'm like, damn, bro, you gonna say I did this first time? I'm like, damn, you don't say I did, bro. He like, before no, you ain't do it. So I'm like, he like, he don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right. So as I leave there, multiple comments like, oh, you know, they talked to my me and him, shot them on nut, multiple. They like, they said me and him did. You got no for multiple? Yeah, M-O-O-N-K.
During the YSL trial, however, Woody would pretty much categorically deny anything that he had told the police during previous interrogations being true. Therefore, it's hard to know what to believe when it comes to his stories, and YSL Woody is not a very reliable narrator in any kind of scenario. But law enforcement, on the other hand, would lay out their theory of what had happened in a 2016 affidavit for a search warrant regarding items that they had discovered during a 2015 arrest of Young Thug in relation to the investigation into the murder of Big Nut. According to the police, they had first learned about an ongoing dispute between Thug's YSL and Big Nut's Inglewood family gang in November 2014. They would also claim that Shannon Jackson, aka Shannon Stillwell, aka SB, was the one to have pulled the trigger in the murder of Big Nut, aka Donovan Thomas, and that it was the January 5th altercation at Club Crucial between Shell Kel and Lil Woody which would be the ultimate catalyst for the murder of Nut, which was followed by dozens of retaliatory shootings between YSL and the Inglewood family's gangs. This even included a shooting of Lil Woody's girlfriend's parents' house immediately on the same night of Big Nut's murder. For whatever it's worth, Woody would also allege to the police that Demekion Garlington, aka D, had told him right after the murder that Jackson, aka SB, Kendrick, aka Yak Gotti, McMullen, aka Nard, and Cobb, aka Doo-Wop, had indeed killed Nut. And, most incriminating for Young Thug himself, Woody would also say that D had told him that it was Thug who personally handed them the car after they spotted Nut in front of the barbershop. The police also claimed that McMullen, aka Nard, called Thug's number only minutes after they had allegedly killed Nut. Moreover, already in 2016, the police were also aware of the possibility that the murder was linked to a beef between Nut and Young Thug all over Rich Homie Quan's career, and that Nut had become increasingly concerned over his safety in the lead up to his murder, believing that Thug and his associates could be willing to hurt him over this beef, with the wildest claim in the affidavit being that Nut's last word had actually been, "Thug had me killed," which he allegedly said to his brother right before passing away. However, during the YSL trial, the prosecution would no longer claim that such words had ever been uttered.
And it's hearsay. Kenneth Copeland says that he has heard, or people are saying, that Donovan Thomas in his dying breath was saying, "Thug did this to me," or something to that effect. People that were actually at the scene for Donovan Thomas's last breaths have said that that was not said. Sammy Davis took the stand and talked about what had happened there, and that's just street rumor being put out there by Kenneth Copeland.
Let me put something in context. So when Mr. Copeland is talking about this particular portion, he's actually trying to say, I don't think that all this was said, because he talks about what happened when DB died and how much time it took for him to get to the hospital. So what he actually says is, now how do you know he got shot 4 times in the chest? You know what else they said? They said that they were holding Nut, and Nut said, "I ain't gonna make it, bro." Well, that came out in evidence, because I believe that is what one of the barbershop witnesses said, that he did hear him say, "I ain't gonna make it, bro." Now, the part that the state will redact, because that has not come into evidence, is that Copeland says they said that Nut said Thug ass had something to do with it. We will exclude that portion because we don't believe that that has come into evidence.
On the other hand, Redditors and online detectives have come up with their own theories, many of these placing the blame for Nutt's murder firmly on YSL Woody, while others would speculate specifically on what the actual motive was for the murder, with many wild theories claiming that Nutt had actually stolen from Birdman or that he'd even slapped Young Thug's sister. Conversely, the rap industry OG, JT the Bigger Figure, who used to work with Nutt and the Rich Gang, would years later tell his story, implying that Nutt was indeed killed due to a dispute between Rich Homie Quan's management, this including Nutt, and Birdman's Rich Gang, including Thug, who wanted to sign Quan for themselves.
Before me and Nutt came together, me and Thug came together, but me and Nutt was already, you know, networking. But I'm not no Crip or no Blood, you know what I mean? And then Birdman came to town, and then Birdman put up the money for that Lifestyle song in the video with him and Rich Homie Quan. Boom, the Rich Gang, new Rich Gang started. Nutt was Quan, but he was cool with Thug. But he had power over Quan. And then disputes came. Once the disputes came, it wasn't good business no more. The hate and the jealousy. Birdman want Quan to bow down, come up under the Rich Gang. And Nutt was like, no, not finna sign that 360 deal, be a broke rapper up under Birdman. Sorry about that, true story. So where did that leave me at? I chose sides with Nutt. But before the murder, I was the that was still with Birdman and Thug that could tell Nutt this was happening over here. And that Pee-wee start hating because put up all the money while Thug was up under up under the Rich Gang. He accepted my racks, my 30 bands. We did 7 songs and did some video footage, photo shoot. But before I could drop it, the murder happened. Now the beef is on.
Whatever may have been the motive behind Nutt's murder, 15 days after his death, Young Thug would allegedly have a conversation with Kyle Ory, also known as Nasty Noo, the alleged leader of the Money Murder Bloods, who's currently serving a life sentence for unrelated RICO charges. During the exchange, one of the two, likely Ory, would reportedly state how sacrifices must be made and soldiers must fall for the battle to be won. Indeed, following Nutt's murder, a big rift emerged between the Bloods in Atlanta, with the ABG gang, affiliated with Nutt and Lucci, seemingly dropping all association with Money Murder, siding instead completely with the Inglewood family that Nutt had been repping. But on the rap side, Rich Homie Quan's relationship with Thug would famously decline from here on out. But for the moment, Quan would at least keep making major moves in the industry as a solo artist, dropping the song Flex almost exactly 1 month after Nutt's death. This song becoming his biggest solo hit, peaking at number 26 on the Billboard Hot 100. In the months and years following Nutt's death, people would repeatedly ask Quan in interviews about what had happened between him and the Rich Gang, but Quan would typically deny having ever even been officially part of the group, and saying how he simply wanted to focus on his solo career.
Now, what happened with Rich Gang?
Yeah, Rich Gang, like I say, we really just like, we did the first mixtape, you know what I mean? And that was just like a mixtape. We were never in a group, you know what I mean? It was just like, you know what I mean? Bird, you know, we all feeling ourselves, Thug, you know what I mean? And it's just like, did that, so man, now we can focus more on our solo career. Like, it's still family there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no bad blood there, man. It's just like,
everything calm.
I came in as a solo artist, so did Thug, so did Bird. That was like a collaboration.
Yes.
And now, like, you know, man, Thug doing good, much success to him. Bird still making plays, much success to him.
Exactly.
And I'm doing damn good, so much success to my goddamn self.
For real. And everything calm and everything love.
Everything, that's all, man. Everything love, man. No problems, man. I have been focusing more on myself. I've stepped away from the Rich Gang of living just to get back to Quan. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool for the moment, but
yeah, it's a moment thing. Like, don't get lost in that sauce.
Yeah. Now, the last time we did an interview, you were down Rich Gang.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't.
Now, seems like not so much.
Well, for one, like, it was just great collaborative music. Like, I was never just Rich Gang. It's just, we were just all solo artists, you know, working on a project together. You know what I mean? I never signed any paperwork. You feel me? I came in, Rich Homie Quan, and that's the way I wanted to leave, man. Despite how much good music we did, all that, you know what I mean? I still want to just always do my own thing. You know what I mean? I just didn't never want nobody to feel as if, like, to say, yeah, well, you know, I did this for Quan and, you know, Quan the reason, nah. I want to always just be like, yeah, man, I did this because I wanted to do it. You feel me? Nah, but even like go back to the Rich Gang, that was a fun time in my life. Like, we made some great music. You know what I mean? Even now, like, man, I don't got no bad blood with Thug, no Bird, you know what I mean? I think we're all in a great place in our life, man, and that's what it's about.
In April 2015, Quan would release the mixtape If You Ever Think I'll Stop Going In, RR. But this project would fail to even chart, and for the next couple years, Quan would fall back from music. And tragically, with his friend Nut no longer around, he would seemingly also fall out with Think It's a Game Records, eventually suing them for $2 million in unpaid royalties, this case ultimately getting settled out of court. Meanwhile, Thug 2 would be asked about Quan's departure from Rich Gang, to which he would simply respond by saying that Quan just had to focus on his career.
Do you have any feelings on the Rich Homie thing, him possibly leaving?
No, he had to focus on his career.
Yeah, definitely.
So
for sure.
that's something that he had to do. He didn't have to do it, but he did it.
Yeah.
However, some years later, Thug would provide a much more cryptic response, first telling Big Boy that the two men had no issues with each other, but then implying that things had happened behind the scenes that had soured their relationship for good.
What's the relationship with Quan, with Rich Homie?
No, we don't have no problem.
Okay.
Like, I don't think we can be like how we used to be.
Right.
He already just did some bull. He already know my heart, so it's like I'm too pure. So once you do that, it's like no. I forgive. I always forgive. If I kill a person, I pray to God that He forgive me. If I do something to a person, I pray I get forgiveness. So I always forgive. I don't ever hold grudges on nobody. I forgive everybody.
But on the shallow end, you know how people want more music and people want to put y'all together. You don't see that happening.
No.
Right.
Because it'll be just...
It's more personal simple. As opposed to...
Yeah, it's nothing about music. It's 100% personal. Like, this was my brother.
Yeah.
It's just like, bro. Now it's like, man, you probably can't never get the blessing of having me on the song, and I can never get the blessing of having you on the song again.
Damn. And as you say that to us, I don't know what you're talking about, but Quan, he know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. He did a show before, and I think a guy had touched his leg on the stage, like a fan was like, yo. He was standing on the end of the stage, and people was touching him, grabbing his shoes, and he was like, yo, I ain't with that Thug. And it's just like, damn, you my brother, like, got your name tattooed on me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the f you doing? So it's just like, it's like that. Like, I forgive him because I know he really be drunk. Hey, Quan get drunk.
Damn.
He get drunk to the point where I have to carry him out the club. Like, so I know for a fact he was drunk, but it's like...
However, in July 2023, the YouTuber and snitch exposer 1090 Jake would provide evidence about what had really happened behind the scenes, showing the world police interview footage of Quan talking to detectives about the murder of Nut, and essentially admitting that everyone in the streets knew that Thug had something to do with Nut's murder, but they just couldn't prove it.
Everybody been talking about it. I'm gonna just be a man and answer myself.
Right.
It's real, man. We just can't prove. Right. Point blank period. I ain't no rat, I ain't telling no. I'm just being real with y'all. I got how much I love and live, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, real.
Hip-hop's top commentator DJ Academics would also share his opinion about the events, saying how Nut's murder had essentially ended Quan's career.
Rich Homie Quan is with some street over this side. Young Thug is calling shots and doing his thing over here. When there is now bloodshed, everybody got to go to their corner. You can't still be like, oh, nah, we're just doing some music together. It's over at that point. It's officially over. His career as an artist is essentially up because he could no longer to Thug. Tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. We didn't see any more public appearances with them. Rich Homie Quan, rather than run to the net and explain to the fans, yo, this homie's killed my man. He didn't say it. Obviously, Rich Homie Quan didn't say that. He just kind of fell back and just acted like, oh, no, I'm a solo artist. He kept it really street. Because what happened after Donovan Nut Thomas gets killed, mad shooting start happening. Remember, Rich Homie Quan was signed to Think It's a Game Entertainment. Who was his label mate? YFN Lucci. Those Inglewood Mafia people, or Inglewood family people, that's Rich Homie Quan's gang. After Donovan Nut Thomas gets killed, mad shootings happen. I think the police even say like dozens of shootings happen, and they realize to properly investigate those shootings, they got to go to the origin. And the origin is Donovan Nut Thomas dying.
For Young Thug, on the other hand, the years following Nut's death brought nothing but success, and over the next few years, he would embark on a creative run of success that most rappers can only dream of, dropping classic project after classic project, and in the span of just 7 years, building up a legendary legacy as both a rapper and a fashion icon. But every step of the way, the authorities in Atlanta were watching out for clues, and building a case to try and take Young Thug down, right when he was about to reach the very pinnacle of his career. And for Young Thug, prolific self-snitcher on the microphone, there was certainly no shortage of self-incriminating lyrics to help those feds piece things together.